Patiently lurks. Thanks, Shion. Welcome to the stream if you're there. If not, thanks for the lurk. And hello everyone. We're here today. We're beginning the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Hello, Reen. Welcome to the stream. Looks like he's happy about it. How you doing today? But yeah, we're starting the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. As a lot of my viewers know, I played the Phoenix Wright trilogy last summer, and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully I will do as well or better with this game. You're doing good? Glad to hear it, Dream. And like I said, I can tell you're happy I'm starting this game. Anyway, yeah, I know. Unlike the Phoenix Wright trilogy, I know absolutely nothing about this game. So I'm going into this completely blind. All I know is that this is a kind of a prequel to Phoenix Wright. That the main character is Phoenix's ancestor. But that's pretty much all I know, really. So let's get started. Select adventure, special contents, and options. Let's go in the options first. Turn this on to enable story mode in place of autoplay, allowing you to progress through the story automatically without having to press any buttons. The answers to questions, presentation, etc. are all handled on your behalf. Why would I want that? Can you explain if there's a reason I should have this on? Because right now it sounds like something I don't want. No reason, of course. Yeah, that's what I figured. So, yeah, I'm not gonna bother with that. I mostly came into this hoping I could change the volume of the sound, some of the audio, but it doesn't look like I can. Looks like I can only turn it on or off. Anyway, so let's go into select adventure. Oh, okay, adventure is... Okay, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Okay, so this is a collection like the Phoenix Wright trilogy, except that there's only 2 games. Okay, so obviously we're going to start with adventures, so let's get going.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some were swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Okay. The Adventure of the Great Departure. Let me change the title of the stream before I continue. Okay. November 22nd, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 5. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer! Sorry. Yeah, let me know if my voice for the main character is okay. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities! Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha! There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma! It looks like you're going to get us to study abroad at last. I know! I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing about his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me! We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Sogi, may I have a word? Professor, I did know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance. Excuse me. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense of in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Renosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may? Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant, Renosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked, and never granted again. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand! Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it! I swear it! I'm not a murderer! I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, Naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not... Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not! Defendant! Court is about to begin! Proceed to the courtroom at once! Ah, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So, allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway! This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Just a sec. Imagining the look on that guy's face when it's all proven obviously wrong. Oh, you're talking about the bailiff? Yeah. Of course, that's if we actually get to see his face, since he's just designed to be a unimportant character. Like, we don't even actually see his face, because the hat's covered it up. Anyway. November 22nd, 9 o'clock a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. It's courtroom 2. I hope I'm saying that word right. That is why I said imagine. Okay, that's fair. Oh my goodness, Renosuke already looks like a deer in the headlights. So this is a courtroom. This is making me wonder what exactly they did to criminals before the system was implemented in Japan now. Probably best not to think about it, though. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. And... I'm just wondering why such a big courtroom is being used to decide the murder of a university professor, but maybe it's a big university. Anyway, I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now... You need to concentrate, Renosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, hello. I know what your voice is gonna be. Or I remember. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Yeah. Do what he said, obviously. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What?! What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. Yeah, that definitely brings back memories. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Humph! Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetuated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, you can't be questioning more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Oh, yes! Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of R1. Okay. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press R1 for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. Okay, let's see. This is a list of evidence you've collected. Now, try switching to people instead with R1. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press circle to go back. John H. Wilson. The victim of this case, he was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. That's interesting. So, remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then press triangle to present. Try it now.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation.
And yeah, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilled on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. Humph. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Rinosuke? Remember that in the court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by a loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay.
Yes!
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Learn to read, you imbecile! That's the post-mortem report I'd taken!
Sorry, yes sir. That's right, the, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. Photograph victim. A photographic print that shows the victim who was shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died. So, that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it then. Humph. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Osogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnaval. Le Carnaval. Excuse me? Well, that doesn't look good. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. If you say so. Well, it really, really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests.
What was the capital when this took place? Because I know Kyoto used to be the capital, so is that the case here, or is it Tokyo by this time? I know that's not really important, but I'm just curious.
It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Osanaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on this day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Oh, joy.
Yes!
Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up the gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections.
The capital at this time is Tokyo, which was known as Edo until 1867. Okay, thanks, Reen.
The court wishes to listen to the witnesses report of what he saw, you amateur!
But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defended Naruhodo. Don't worry, Renosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did you just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Renosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, There was a woman sitting opposite at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? I think we should wait and see, since I assume we're going to get a chance to argue our point in a bit. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Renosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have gone into Yume University otherwise. But you can't always just follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're guilty. When you're found guilty. Alright, you scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it.
Yes!
Just a moment, please! Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I begin to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. He keeps saying this is a normal occurrence, but I still have doubts. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record.
So, the court has now heard a precis of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. Well, that's in what I was hoping for. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a sec. The oh, sorry, that was... Obviously, I don't know what that says, but... And it could just be what's on the opposite side of the business card, but... Something for me to keep in mind, at least. Okay, I'm just looking through it for now. Again, people that watch me play Phoenix Wright know I did that pretty often. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment.
I called
this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I doubt that, Ouchie. Yeah, it could be a bluff. You're right. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Rinosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Aoshi, please continue with proceedings.
Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be.
I doubt that as well. About people calling him a saint, I mean.
In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses.
Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. More than one? I mean, yeah, obviously more than one, but I meant at a time. Oh, okay. Yep, guess there is more than one.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir! The great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir! Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the affluescence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Korakuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen are present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon. and not infrequently conversed with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative! The enemy unit... Okay. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war. Sir! It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir! This man says impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Yeah, so did I. I didn't know if that was actually important. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir! Yes, sir! Stand by to... Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up that act when I keep hearing that noise. But let me try again anyway. Sir, yes, sir! Stand by to we're ready to report, sir! Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Witness testimony. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the... Please stop. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. And from the back, the cowardly little weasel... Okay, I already know that's a lie. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed a vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! That... Gosh, dang it. That wicked... What is he doing with the knife? Gosh, dang it. Yep, sorry, the witnesses in this game are already proven to be 10 times more... What's the word I'm looking for? Eccentric than anything I've seen in the Phoenix Wright series. In the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Anyway, weird, yeah, weird works too. In fact, weird's the better word. Let's just go with weird. Anyway, Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! That wicked university cadet, sir! The cruel and unforgivable enemy! What times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the bright light of day. But this is ridiculous! I didn't shoot anyone! Is that really true, Renosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. You can tell the old man would rather be hanging out with his antiques. Definitely. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I'm going to try to keep this statement in the back of my mind for now. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... What? Oh! Well, okay. What I was just thinking has, what I was just thinking was, well, actually, let's just continue. I'll still keep my initial thoughts in the back of my mind for now. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Renosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now!
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly. The testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of the trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the defense demands its right to cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it? How pathetic.
Huh? How do you know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Because he's being controlled by a player that's gone through this song and dance before. Let's get on with this.
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Renosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Is it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. Ouchie is a chicken. Wait, that would be offensive to chickens. Very true, Rain. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now, let's go, Renosuke! Don't let them beat you! Alright then. It's all or nothing. So, again, so far, how are my voices in this game? Because, as I've said multiple times before, I'm not... Male voices are a little harder for me to make different ones of, aside from, with the obvious exception of Ouchie. What the witnesses saw. I was just in a regulation beefsteak in the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. I saw if I was stolen the yeah. The precise moment a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action. Okay, the question is, do I choose the post-mortem report or the photo? Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. Bella did not pass the victim's body. I'll try the... Actually, hang on a minute. Fatal hemorrhage... Golly, no wonder he couldn't figure out how to pronounce that. Fatal hemorrhage from the pectoral ballistic trauma. Who wrote this? Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Again, who wrote this? No wonder Renosuke had trouble reading it. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and try with the post-mortem report, first of all. Me don't do English good.
Yes!
What? Where are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers in my mustache. Okay. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
Tis what nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
Ugh, this is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. Thank you. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Cosimo, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense. Soup said, welcome to the stream, Soup, and Soup says, there's nothing in the rulebook that says a dog can't sub in as a defense attorney. Yeah, and he definitely already seems to be more competent at it than the prosecutor. Or rather, more competent at court proceedings in general. Anyway. But wait, I have this updated post-mortal report. Welcome to the stream, Ashi. I was wondering if you're going to be around to watch me play this. I would have been surprised if you weren't. Super replies to Ashi, what? Anyway. That there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Iesa Nosa. I'm glad I'm not going to have to remember this name beyond this case, most likely, because I wouldn't be able to. Iesa. Oh, I see. Yeah, as I started to read, I realized there had to have been some pun in the name, which is typical for this series. And it very clearly states that there is a chance that the killer is, in fact, defense counsel. Your Honor, I call for a swift verdict followed by beheading. Yeah, the sad part is that's probably how it would have turned out. Anyway, moving on. I don't know how, what punishments were like back when this took place. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir! Affirmative, sir! I witnessed the crime with my own military great eyes, sir!
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Come on, Renosuke, you can do it. Okay, fine. I love the inexperienced animations they give Renosuke. Yeah! Like I said, when he first entered the court, I already said he looked like a... When he entered the courtroom, rather, I already said he looked like a deer in the headlights, and... He doesn't look as bad now, but yeah, he's still just clearly a bit pretty nervous. Anyway, and as you said, inexperienced. As is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from the pectoral ballistic trauma. Again! Who wrote that? Who decided to write it that way? Ugh. Anyway, no exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. Yeah, I probably could have shown the photo too, but oh well. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Incidentally, because the story is over 2 games, many feel the entire first game is a tutorial, a very hard tutorial. Oh, I see. Hopefully I can do it then. The fact that you said it's a very hard tutorial has me a little worried now. Well, I'll see what I can do. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. The first trial is not that hard. Yeah, I'm sure the first trial is fine. I'm talking about for the future trials. Because I know I didn't do so great in the cases in Phoenix, right? Anyway, and that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh! Okay, now we know what the noise we heard was. How's his bandana blowing the wind like that? Yeah, I couldn't help focusing on that myself. I didn't say anything, but Dragoon says I asked cheeseburgers. Sounds good. Soup asks, how is everybody? I'm doing good. How are you? Anime power! Pretty much, Reen. That's about the only explanation we can give. What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Yeah, poor kid. Hey, you're good? Glad to hear it, Dragoon. Hugs, chat? Aw, thanks. Hugs back. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were... Oh, so cute! Firmly fixed on the delicious Le Carnival steak, sir! What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesa Nosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all!
That's absurd!
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this courtroom! Oh, nice! Just throw his own words back at him. Sip says, I want cheeseburgers now, but the nearest burger joint from work is Wendy's. I don't care for the burgers. Oh, really? I'll admit I haven't been to Wendy's a lot myself, so can't really give an opinion. I'm sure they are fine, but a long time ago I got food poisoning from them and it put me off their burgers. Oh. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I wanted a burger yesterday. I tried to order one from the deli at the grocery store, and but they said they were out. They're running out of a lot of things over there. Which is ridiculous. I know why, but I'm not going to talk about it on chat, on stream. Their chicken is perfectly good, though. That's good. Anyway, again, Kazuma, nice job throwing his own words back at him. Trophy earned, inconsistency seer. For having successfully presented evidence during the first cross-examination that occurs in both the Great Ace Attorney Adventures and the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Okay, I don't know how that makes sense, because I have not done that. I haven't played Resolve yet, obviously. So, I don't get that. For having successfully presented evidence here in the first cross-examination that occurs in both the Great Ace Attorney Adventures in the Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. So yeah, again, I don't know how that makes sense when obviously I haven't played Resolve yet. Anyway, there's my first trophy, whatever the case. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. I think they just mean the achievements are shared over both games instead of having separate lists. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense. I'm sorry, but that baby is adorable. Please grow up to be nothing like your dad. I think everyone would appreciate that. But I definitely saw him! That university cadet, there! Oh, look what you're doing, you're scaring your baby. That university cadet there! He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back!
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. What now? Also, is that supposed to be a monocle? Just saying, I never saw a monocle that looks like that. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Also, his name is Collector. Oh, okay. Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed! The higher common! My prize coin! How did he not just break that antique there just now? On each occasion when I visit that restaurant. Lots of puns in this one. Typical for this series, but so yeah. It is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop Rasute. Is it a habit to place, I'm in habit to place in my front pocket a particular trinket of interest from my Maybe you want moe puns? No thanks. Anyway. And yeah, I got the joke. So I found an oxymoron in Robot Wars. A robot named Ripper that's weapon is a flipper. Interesting. That's interesting, Dragoon. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. Oh, on the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my holy treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not. What, is he Yoda now? but I was presented with little alternative. Flipper is faster than lightning and trademarked. Oh, okay. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was no more. It simply vanished. Someone got close, and there's Flipper. Oh, okay.
The Koban vanished?
Hang on a minute. The Hoei era Koban, my prized coin. Okay. Legally distinct, not dolphin bot. Right. Weapon, spinning drum, and lifting arm. Haunted around under the table I was, in case by happen had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me! Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Well, I think we know who's gonna be on trial next, possibly. Anyway, as I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Yeah, well, you're not gonna get that. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Alchi?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Oh boy. Explain.
Upon hearing your next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir! At once, sir! Awaiting signal to testify, sir! Excuse me, but there's something, or someone, peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative! The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir! Name Ido! Gosh dang it! You really didn't think this name through, did you? It turns out the culprit is Ouchie. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido, attention! Your father is about to quell the enemy! Watch and learn, my boy! Oh my gosh, he's so cute! Okay, I'm sorry, but that baby is just adorable. Anyway. Okay, another witness testimony. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointed his gun at the fun man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out!
Yes!
These testimonies are... Okay, I didn't get to read that. Wait, that's... Okay, hang on, let me read this. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense! The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all!
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies.
Ugh.
It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel?
Indeed.
Hang on a minute. Work calls, take care. I hope to see you later. Yep, see you later, Soup. Take care at work.
Indeed. Indeed. The table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident.
Let me check the photo again. I'm gonna check some other things. Okay, I'm done. Actually, let me check one more thing. Okay, I'm done now.
Indeed, the table at which the victim was dining taken...
Okay, I already read that.
As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. A bottle of carbonated water, sure, whatever, and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the enmity of these two great empires is an honor.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Rinosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Test rules can be so unbending at times.
The true culprit. Okay, let me read these. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Just point his gun at the foreign man he was that. Furthermore, a visual. Furthermore, visual certain. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to press some of these statements to find something.
Yes!
No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so.
Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked.
Did you?
Did you see it? Did you see me blink?
How could I?
And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink.
What's he getting at with this?
So there you have it.
Have what? Tension! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman.
I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Kurakuda-san?
How is that an undeniable fact? The only part of that is true is that you claim that you blinked. Yep. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I had just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and found myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner.
Yes!
You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and again, I feel I am growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have even caught a glimpse of this woman.
If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course the place is almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. Was there now?
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Hota... Oh my gosh. Hota Clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. November 19th, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder... What do you think, Renosuke? Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not? Yeah.
Yes!
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Yes. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend.
Okay. Feel like that's some kind of commentary on something, but I'm not gonna go into that. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. The victim's medical report card has been entered into the court record. Medical report card from Hoda Clinic that was found in the victim's pocket. Let me take a look at that real quick. Oh, okay, I can't. Alright, fine. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuda-san.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in.
So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let's not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there's only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one.
No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? Whoa, what did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible! Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right.
Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But I...
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this Phantom Woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time.
There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Grinosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So, perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press X and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the right joystick, basically. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using the left joystick, you can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press X to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use the right joystick, left joystick, and X to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Alright. Medical report card required for every visit. Name, Mr. John Wilson, Hota Clinic. Dentist, Hota Clinic. Date, unknown. Record number 372857. It says Hota Clinic on this medical report card. I hate clinics, almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Ugh. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life! Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. Looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment, that's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So, you don't like doctors then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible tasting medicine. They give you painful injections. And then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. All when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less. For which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. Trophy earned, healthy curiosity. For having thoroughly examined the medical report card inside and out in episode 1 of the Greatest Attorney Adventures. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Oh, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Oh, I see. The medical report card's information has been updated in the court record. A record of dental work. On the day of the murder, the victim had undergone dental treatment and been prohibited from eating or drinking anything but water. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So, I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely.
Yes!
Well, I think, About what, you wittering lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Renosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright. And thanks for the advice. Kurakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Oh, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel.
But...
Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
But that's, Remember, Renosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could have possibly perpetrated the crime.
This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that?
What? That outburst had petrified me, boy! Of course I believe it! How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hota Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted?
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating?
Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? You had orders not to eat, so what?
It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't.
Karakuda-san! What, boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed, sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
Ouchie, as it has already been proven, is a moron. Yep.
The victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
He really is a moron. I mean, this kid, this kid here is proven to be more competent at being at doing his job than a fully trained prosecutor. Can we just think about that for a moment?
No! Additionally, there's more! You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic.
Ah!
Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What now?
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at the photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Yeah, one plate of food. Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Rudosuke? Yes, most definitely.
So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel.
Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been victim himself, me, the two witnesses, an as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it could only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There is no such person!
Yes!
There was, because I saw her.
When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet, we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial relentlessly. Kazuma.
Are you insane? You would take on the government?
Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you.
What do you mean?
I have issue with them! Those two witnesses in the stand! What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! No! Negative! There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting.
The what now?
I was just following orders! Yeah, of course you were. That's hard, as the man says. Just say you never saw the Wow. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. You know what? Almost everyone in this courtroom right now is a moron, not just Ouchie. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korakura-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders? No, hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman? Urgh. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? Oh. What?
Objection!
What did you mean of all this? These witnesses gave false statements?
Excuse me? Are you saying you didn't know that?
Is this true, you pair?
Just one. Just one simple slip on the tongue! Order! Order! Counsel, explain what is going on here! It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this.
Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep her mouth shut? Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't! This can't be happening! Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it really was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers! If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait. Your Excellency! I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shindo god. I knew nothing!
And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency! No time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first thing that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... I know nothing! Yes, Sergeant Schultz, we know. Besides the prosecution... Hang on, let me read the history again. The government, the military, or the police? Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... But he manipulated both of these two. So... Besides the prosecution, the only person with influence to manipulate the witnesses. Medical... Medicine and an authority in forensic medicine. Who's a visiting professor of medicine? Authority in forensic medicine. Well, time to do the same old song and dance I did with Phoenix Wright.
feel like this is... Because obviously it wouldn't be the victim, I wouldn't think. So... I feel like this is the only person it could be.
Yes!
I think, Counsel, that you may want to close your ears as well as your eyes. Otherwise, the signs of disappointment... Okay, so it wasn't him. Okay, so that wasn't the right answer. I don't know what it is about the prosecutor exactly, but he really makes me... Gosh dang it. I don't know what it is about that prosecutor exactly, but he really makes me wince in pain sometimes. Yes, I get the joke. I don't have a great deal of influence myself, but believe me, I can find other ways to make you keep your mouth shut as well. Alright, don't get angry. I'll think again. There must be a clue somewhere in all that evidence in the court record. Oh, okay. Yeah, it didn't give me a chance to look, or I didn't take the chance to look at this beforehand. Okay, so it is the waiter. Got it. Actually, now that I think about it, there might be some pieces of evidence I haven't thoroughly examined yet. I will admit I was suspecting the waiter also, but again, I didn't look at the card beforehand. Well, Your Excellency. No time to think. Da-da-da-da.
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony?
Well, we don't know the reason, but we know he had the power to do it.
Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were?
Come on, Renosuke, time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
I'm not sure what this is supposed to prove, Counsel.
I think, Your Excellency, that what this proves is not the true nature of the waiter, but the true nature of the accused.
Sorry?
A blackguard who would stoop to presenting the relevant evidence to incriminate an innocent man. That's the true nature of this rookie.
Oh, what? Wait a minute, what'd I do wrong? Yeah, Okay, I was supposed to actually examine it. Okay, my bad. Yeah, getting used to some of the mechanics of this game, sorry. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow here. The waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. Okay, now I can present it properly.
There's something in there that proves who this waiter really is, I'm sure of it. Alright then, I'll try. Come on, Renosuke, time to hit this chord with the truth.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail. I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon? Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Just turn the card around. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Huh? Oh, hi. Welcome back. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. A court will take this plan and add to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once! Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Of course! Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of this person's presence have been served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Oh, he's still doing that, huh?
Correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable! As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair. Beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I realized received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say... Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect... Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. And I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector! The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical faculty. What?
What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene. And ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency! That would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain! Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Council. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem. Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Your Excellency!
Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before reconvening. To be continued. Okay, and this looks like a good place for me to take a short break, so if there's anything you need to do, now would be a good time, and I will be back shortly. So, see you in a little bit.
Okay, I'm back. And we're about going to do the second half of this trial now. Hopefully I'll finish it tonight. We'll see. November 22nd, 11:38 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants... That word's gonna keep getting to me. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 5. Excellent work, Renosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in testimonies. I think you might have natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't think I ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, looks like we've exposed your Phantom Lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start! Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up... I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet. And he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Ah, there you are! Well done, both of you! Professor Mikotoba! Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so I wouldn't have to be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? Humph. So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor,
Did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. And it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our links to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need.
Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama.
Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what's hit them. Kazuma? What? Thank you, really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer, and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. November 22nd, 12:09 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency! Against all odds! And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders?
Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you jumped-up rookie boy! You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Renosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
Wow. Nice hat.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land.
Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say right now, this woman has to be Dahlia's ancestor. Is that true? No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. Not you! We already know you! I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. But by true,
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Oh my gosh. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Renosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Pardon? Let me guess, she just completely spoke English there, didn't she?
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What?
The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. Now she went from a pain to complete annoyance. Yep. That's one way to word it anyway. This is a visiting research student, currently enrolled in UMA University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people.
If that's what that was.
I'm afraid I did not understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Renosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? She says yes. What? This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Oh, come on! Really? Order in court!
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolute conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Witness testimony. A frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. Oh,
Yes!
this is a condemning testimony indeed. No! I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all!
Objection!
Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard! You look at this Snow-White angel! I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
You're still making the same mistakes, Renosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. Ugh, but he's so annoying! Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before, and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I don't know about that. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Well, that's true, but I was thinking of one particular spot.
Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden the weapon can be shown, this is moot.
There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Again, I disagree. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. Ugh, it's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. I'm not sure that's going to be necessary. Don't think about doing anything rash, Renosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. Ouchie is a total sycophant. Yep.
Welcome back, Soup. How's work been?
You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's all we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Madness! Oh, okay. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. A frightening and sorrowful sight. Okay. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Slightly late? The professor wasn't able to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor. They got into a fierce argument.
Yes!
I never got into an argument with the professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please, don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing the retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the professor. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. Well, that's why you're there as a translator.
No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all soup. Kill me now. We must all piku English. Ugh, that was cringy just to read.
I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever or only in the presence of a beautiful woman. Well, a beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel our testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may be. Yeah, I'm still sticking to my theory that she's Dahlia Hawthorne's ancestor. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in with what you said, doesn't it? Yes. I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. You sure she doesn't understand us? Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes.
Yes!
Like I said, I did not shoot that gun! And then, like Guy said, there's no point in repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side.
Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand.
Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at that time. The highly suspicious lady at the highly suspicious lady in the stand.
That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel!
Dirty?
Your baseless accusation could very well cause an international incident, boy!
It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours.
What nonsense! The lady is merely stating what she...
Oh, sorry. The lady is merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Yes!
It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely. I verified it personally. You verified it? Yes. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember her saying, "I'm not." That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? It's obvious, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. The Honorable
English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter.
Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? I like that Payne's ancestor is named Ouchie. Yep.
Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts.
In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation. But she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your office had told you to get the woman out of there. Not to get her out of there, I just urged her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime. Which is why she is only too happy to cooperate to testify in court today, of course.
Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you!
Oh, I'm sorry, did you say something? So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him. Which is now totally unfounded lie! Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose our testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, then the trial's over. Even you with your thick skin must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seems even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself, I promise you. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination.
Yes!
After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
Objection!
You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right?
No. No. Oh, sorry, that was actually her talking. Okay. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic! What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next?
Yes!
He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hoda Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left? Dear me, what...
Dear me, what a harrowing experience! To have have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
Geez, having to go all the way to Japan to get dental work. The British have it rough. Yep. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Oh, okay, I guess that actually was water then. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Renosuke, about the witness's last statement? That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing?
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. It seems he hasn't mastered the death slam yet. Nope, not yet.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well, Miss Brett. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly, she said. Am I the only one that wants to slap her when she's smiling like that? That was brilliant, Cosma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Renosuke. You have no idea, Luna! I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water.
Yes!
So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak, that was for you, Miss Brett? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. What? The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Oh, that is true? Okay. Interesting. Yes, that's true. Okay, Renosuke. 4-legged animals were not eaten. Ah, okay. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Only birds and fish. Yeah. Yeah, we're both dealing with culture shock on. We're dealing with culture shock on both sides here. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? True, come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. Yeah.
But anyway, back to this witness's statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now. Because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Understood, Kazuma. Wait a minute, I just remembered something. Let me see. There was only one glass. I guess it doesn't matter which photo I show, and this one probably shows it better, so let's go with this one.
Yes!
So, Soup, they're doing Hook versus Donhausen. Sorry if I butchered that second name. That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Sounds like a big match, Dragoon. Well, that is, it's odd. Very odd.
Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Renosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Yeah, it would be so funny if they have it for 8 minutes and Hook just murders him. Ah! You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here.
Objection!
Now what? Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutia? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
How did this dude become a prosecutor again?
Objection!
Minutia, you say? Could it be the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass on the table. Okay, so she's at least a thief. Got it. He is somewhat more competent than his descendants, but yeah, he's a product of his time. Fair enough. What? Oh, there's Rio. Just a sec.
Okay. It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying.
Good gracious!
Hey, Rio.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing better, I think.
Okay, that's good. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
I'm
Well,
currently
nice talking to you.
Okay, bye. I'm currently streaming at the moment, but if you need me to
That's
stop
what
soon, I
thought-
can.
Well, it's up to you. It is 8:50.
Yeah.
Did you want to watch? Did you want? Because I have to leave at 10 o'clock. Because I promised I'd go downstairs and watch a show with my mom. So, did you want to watch 1 or 2 episodes tonight?
I'll leave that up to you.
I'm good either way.
Because
but
I
if-
can stop any time. I'm playing the Greatest Attorney Chronicles, so I can really save any time.
Ask your fans what they think. So.
Alright, well, what do you think, guys think? Do you want me to see what I can do with this trial in, I guess, the next 30 minutes? Or should I just save the rest of this for next Tuesday? Rio, Dragoon asks, Rio, you hear about AEW, and NJPW, The Forbidden Door?
I've heard something to that effect, that they're going to do a cross-promotional show sometime in the near future.
What do your heart be saying, Luna? Asked Soup.
Soupster! Ladies and gentlemen, I am once again host to Gaming's Galloping Gourmet. What's on the menu for tonight, Soupster?
I'm thinking at the moment to answer your question, Soup. At the moment, fast food, but later tonight is shrimp and Thai curry soup. What kind of fast food? I'm curious. Let me check the history. See what I've just done so far. Okay, yeah, I just argued the fact that they claimed they had a toast over a glass of carbonated water, but there was only one glass on the table, and then it ended with with Brett saying that she took one of the glasses from the table because she was wanting to hide the fact that she had been at the scene of the crime. After what we talked about earlier, Wendy's, where I got the chicken. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Sorry.
There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
I don't know about that, but whatever you say. Oh, please.
We must remember that the student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes.
So she claims.
Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray?
That's absurd!
Oh, really? So, do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief?
Oh.
What? No. This can't be put down to mischief.
I think I'm programmed in soon just because I've been doing this voice acting for roughly 3.5 hours.
That would put a strain on things.
Yeah. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Yeah, I'll stop pretty soon, probably. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. Especially when I had to do that prosecutor's voice. The way it sounds like this! On and off. I'm sure you can imagine how that much of a pain that is.
Most assuredly.
A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. Wait, hold up. What was that? It would seem she slipped it into a... You don't say! Interesting. Is it possible she could have carried something else in that handbag? That's actually a really good impression of him too. Thanks, Soup. I don't mind doing it. It's just doing that a long time does wreck my voice after a while. Or wreck my throat, rather. Anyway, you know what? I think I'm gonna save it here so that I can remember this little point next time I play. So yeah, this is where I'll go ahead and end the stream for tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, you can follow my YouTube channel link below to see my past streams.
It was too short for my tastes.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Anyway, again, you can follow my YouTube channel to see my past streams, as well as my Twitter account to be notified when I go live or for other announcements. And I will be back tomorrow night to play more of Star Ocean till the end of time. So, and I hope you've enjoyed me playing this so far. I know I might be doing pretty bad considering this is only the first case, but I'm trying. Anyway, if you'll stick around, I'll be dropping a host. Let's see who's on tonight. Let's see. Let's host the villainous JP3, who's playing Yakuza 0. So I hope you'll stick around for that, and I hope you all have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye.